6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has expressed the confidence that more Chinese investment under the second phase of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will give impetus to the country's economic growth. Talking to the resident ambassadors of the ECO in Islamabad today, Anwarul Haq Kakar said Pakistan is keen to further strengthen bilateral ties with all the member states. The Chairman's Senate will address International Symposium on Strengthening Diplomatic Ties among the neighbouring nations being held in Beijing tomorrow. The Foreign Minister says Pakistan stands ready to work with ASEAN member states for confidence building and conflict prevention. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the occupation troops in their fresh act of state terrorism have martyred two Kashmiri youths in a fake encounter in Baramulla. Afghanistan are chasing a victory target of 283 runs against Pakistan in the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 match at Chennai. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar has expressed the confidence that Chinese private entities will make investment in the second phase of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project with a focus on relocating industries and fostering cooperation in the agricultural and mining sectors. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad, he said the Chinese investment will give impetus to our economic growth. Describing his talks with the Chinese leadership as highly fruitful and constructive, the Prime Minister said Pakistan and China have ironclad friendship and an all-weather strategic partnership. He said there is a desire on both sides to further enhance the engagement and deepen this relationship. The Prime Minister said 20 agreements were signed during his visit to Beijing and a mechanism has been worked out to ensure their implementation. Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar says Pakistan is keen to further strengthen bilateral ties with all the ECO member countries. He expressed these views while talking to the resident ambassadors of the Economic Cooperation Organization member states in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister highlighted the significance of ECO for regional development and emphasized that the ECO member states shared a common history and culture. He said today the region faces common challenges that need to be coped with, concerted efforts for shared growth and prosperity. Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar has assured to continue to extend full support to the Pakistan International Airlines till the completion of its privatization process. Chairing a meeting to review matters pertaining to Pakistan International Airlines in Islamabad today, he directed to accelerate the process of PIA's privatization. He said he should be kept informed regarding the progress on the privatization of PIA. The Prime Minister said public tax money will be saved from wastage by privatizing loss-making state-owned enterprises. The Foreign Minister Jalil Abbas Jilani has expressed Pakistan's firm commitment to remain a strong partner in all endeavours for peace, stability and development of the region and beyond. He was speaking on the occasion of inauguration of the ASEAN Corner at the Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad today. The Foreign Minister said a peaceful and stable Asia-Pacific is a priority for Pakistan and it stands ready to work with the ASEAN member states for confidence building and conflict prevention. Jalil Abbas Jilani said, being a proponent of multilateralism, Pakistan believes that a recommitment to the fundamental principles of the United Nations Charter is the need of the hour. Foreign Minister Jalil Abbas Jilani will lead the Pakistan delegation at Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Council of Heads of Government meeting to be held in Kyrgyzstan on Thursday. According to the Foreign Office, he will participate in the meeting at the invitation of the Chairman of the Cabinet of the Ministers of the Kyrgyz Republic. Akilbek Yaparov. The SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting will be attended by the heads of the government of China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, vice presidents of Iran, and foreign ministers of Pakistan and India. Pakistan will assume the chair of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Heads of Government in this meeting. A four-member delegation headed by the Chairman Senate Sadiq Sanjarani has arrived in Beijing on a four-day visit. The Chairman Senate will address the International Symposium on Strengthening Diplomatic Ties among the neighboring nations being held tomorrow. He will attend the event as a chief guest to commemorate the 10th anniversary of China's principle of amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness in neighborhood diplomacy proposed by President Xi Jinping. Besides holding a meeting with his Chinese counterpart, the Chairman's Senate will hold meetings with the heads of various Chinese state-owned companies, including those in the mining sector. The Supreme Court of Pakistan has declared that civilians' trial in the military courts as ultra vires of the Constitution. A five-member larger bench of the Apex Court, headed by Mr. Justice Ijazul Ehsan, announced the verdict today. In its judgment, the court also ordered to conduct the trial of the detained 103 people in civilian courts. Earlier, the Supreme Court had reserved the decision today after concluding hearing in the case. This is Radio Pakistan. Voluntary repatriation of illegal foreign nationals to their countries continue as only 8 days are left for them to leave the country. The government has asked all the undocumented foreign nationals to leave Pakistan by the 31st of this month. Otherwise, the law enforcement agencies will take action as per the law of the land. Meanwhile, voluntary repatriation of Afghan nationals residing illegally in Pakistan is continuing on a daily basis. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the occupation troops in their fresh act of state terrorism have martyred two Kashmiri youths in a fake encounter in Baramulla district. The youths were martyred by the personnel of the Indian Army and the Border Security Force during a cordon insurge operation in a fake encounter in Uri area. The operation in the area continued on the second day today. Senior APHC leader and the chairman Jammu and Kashmir Democratic Freedom Party Shabir Ahmed Shah, in a message from New Delhi's infamous Tihar jail, has sought intervention of the world community to settle the Kashmir dispute. The incarcerated leader mentioned singing of a devotional Hindu hymn in Srinagar and renaming of schools, colleges, roads, and other landmarks having Muslim-rooted names as part of New Delhi's bid to impose Hindutva ideology in the Muslim-majority territory. China is willing to do whatever is conducive to promote dialogue, secure a ceasefire, and restore peace amid the deepening conflict in Gaza. State-run China's Central Television said today that the Chinese envoy is on a diplomatic tour of the region aimed at trying to secure an avenue for humanitarian supplies into the territory and work towards a ceasefire. He described the situation in Gaza as very serious. He said China will continue close communication with all the parties in the international community. Diplomat Jai Chan said China believes that force is not a way to resolve the problem and that responding to violence with violence will only lead to a vicious circle of revenge. He said China will continue to provide emergency assistance to Palestinians through the United Nations and via bilateral channels to help alleviate the humanitarian crisis. The United States has urged Israel to delay its ground incursion in the Gaza Strip. President Joe Biden's administration has also advised Israel to allow time for the release of hostages and shipment of aid into Gaza. And now cricket. In the ICC Men's World Cup match against Pakistan at Chennai, chasing a victory target of 283 runs, Afghanistan were 28 runs for the loss of no wickets in 4 overs a short while ago. Batting first, Pakistan scored 282 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the stipulated 50 overs. And finally, the weather report. Mainly dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, partly cloudy weather with light rain is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio